Good morning. Today we're going to talk about filling holes and defects in wood. I'll try to explain each of these methods as we go along. But first, let's start with this premise. Well-finished furniture doesn't have screw holes in it. It doesn't have nail holes in it. It doesn't have knot holes in it. I'm sure each of you has your own way of dealing with these problems. I'm going to show you 3 of mine today, and I'll try to explain the pros and cons of each as we go along.
Wood filler is, to me, the fastest, easiest way to fix most surface defects. It's the only method I use for knots, scratches, and dents. This Bondo product is my favorite, but it's gray, so it's not suitable for natural or stained finishes. There are many other filler products that come in a variety of colors and materials, and you may have a favorite of your own. This just happens to be the one I like because it hardens fast, sands clean, and takes paint well. This stuff is really easy to use. You just mix it according to the instructions. I put a little on a piece of paper, and then I'll add some hardener to it. Mix it up really well. Now, you've only got a few minutes before you just can't work with this anymore, so you have to work rather quickly. Don't try to be too neat when spreading this. You've got to sand it when you're done anyway, and it's easy to sand, so like I say, you don't have to be too careful with it. You can sand it after 15 minutes according to the instructions. I prefer to wait about 30 minutes. Sometimes these larger holes may take more than one layer to fill in the hole. Just take your time. After the wood filler is hardened, it's time to sand it down.
When you have perfectly round holes, such as in countersinks, wood plugs are an easy way to solve the problem. You could make your own. I prefer to make my own. That way I know I'm getting the wood plug made from the same wood that I'm filling the hole for. And I just use scrap pieces to make the plugs. But you can buy plugs, or you can cut off a wooden dowel and use it as a plug. It's really very easy to do. Each plug is going to go in a hole. I'm going to apply a little bit of glue. I use just a good grade of carpenter's glue for this exterior carpenter's glue because it's going to be used outside. Put a little glue on it, snug it into the hole. And wait for it to dry. The problem that I see with wood plugs is that the plug, even if it's made from the same material, which this one is, the plug will always expand and contract due to moisture and heat at a different rate than the wood surrounding it. So you're always going to see some indication of that wood plug. Sometimes it can get really ugly. Sometimes it's not too bad. It just depends on the circumstances. This is a photograph of one of my chairs I left outside for the last year. You can see the wood plugs in it. They're not unacceptable, they're just noticeable. Here's a workpiece that has some ugly holes in it. And in order to fix this surface, I want to put a laminate on it. Laminate, of course, is too thin because if I laminated that, I'd end up with dimples. So I come back and I do an overlay. And to do the overlay, I find another piece of wood that's a similar wood. Make sure both of these two surfaces have been smoothed and planed because those are going to be the mating surfaces. To make the overlay, I'm simply going to shave a quarter of an inch off of this surface to make a quarter-inch strip. I'll do that on the bandsaw.
Now that the overlay is applied, sand or plane that rough cut surface left behind by the bandsaw. It doesn't matter if you do this with a planer, a sander, or a joiner. I think you'll agree of all the methods, this one gives the best surface. So there you have it. These three methods, used individually or in combination, can repair just about any surface defect you'll ever encounter.